Welcome back inside the scoreboard. We're back with another episode. I'm Corey,
It's Jamal.
and we're back with another one. I mean, as usual, we jumping straight into it. If you're a Charlottean or anywhere in the North Carolina area, this draft has probably got you a little more excited than it usually has. I love to start right there. Jamal, coming out right now with the Hornets, how do you feel about some of their picks this year?
I like it a lot. I thought they should have targeted Kyle Jones. That's a guy I wanted them to pick because I know at their center position that was a need or just somebody in that front court who can defend the paint. And then when you look at him, he's kind of like a prototype center. He has a little bit of handle. He has a jump shot, which is surprising, and he can just run up and down the court like these traditional big men now. Not traditional, but these new era big men, kind of like the Jared Allen's of the world, just can really run the floor. And when you also look at it, I don't want to overhype him at all, but I think his pro comparison right now is something like a Christian Woods, but with the ability to grow more muscle and be a stronger Christian Woods. So I like it a lot with the Kai Jones pick, and then even with the Book Knight pick, I thought that was great to get another combo guard, a guy that's used to being the primary scorer and that just can get a bucket. He reminds me a lot of Jordan Clarkson. So hopefully he can at least be that or something even better. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Definitely. I feel like the big difference, at least what I've seen this year as to previous years, every guy that we picked up, I see the potential. Every guy that we picked up, it wasn't necessarily going with the big names. I see you, Mitch. Wasn't necessarily going with the big names, but I feel like he acquired some talent. Kai Jones, obvious, recognizable name from college basketball, but for the most part, he went with what I felt like was some real nice potential picks that will already mesh well with the guys that we already have. You talked about Kai Jones' athleticism. How's that going to work? Do you think working within the offense? Do you expect him to come? Do you expect him to be a guy that comes in and gets minutes immediately?
I think that just depends on how he performs in the summer league and how he performs in the preseason. Because when we look at PJ a few years back, PJ was scoring damn near in double digits in all his preseason games. If not, I think he may have scored in double digits in all his preseason games. And I think that pretty much dictated, him getting a lot of burn and a lot of minutes. And then you see in his debut against Chicago, he had a tremendous game. But I mean, I don't think that should rush things at all. He's still a little raw in certain aspects of his game, and when the addition of Mason Plumlee, I think that helps him out where they can kind of take their time with kind of get him into the flow of things. We do have Vernon Carey from Duke and Nick Richards from Kentucky that we drafted last year in the second round, and then we also have Jalen McDaniels, in the front court at the forward position. So I think if he's showing us a lot of promise right now, then go ahead and play him. What do you feel?
I can understand that. No, I definitely understand that with the summer league, just going off his performance. We were just talking about potential, but as far as minutes, I feel like that should be strictly off performance. If you see him, he's coming in, he's effective, doing what you need him to do, by all means, let him get those minutes. But right now, the guys who I feel like will be getting the minutes deserve it. Like a Plumlee, in comparison to what we had last year and previous years, we need that. So that's a guy that to me should be on the floor. Miles have obviously earned his spot. Melo I expect him to be another guy coming in, getting heavy minutes. Not to mention Terry, from a guard play. We got a lot of guys who already earned their minutes. So I'm not expecting too much immediately. I would like to see our young guys get a play, but not if it means sacrificing the season. I feel like people aren't really seeing the Hornets as a playoff team. Maybe me and you and some other Charlotteans, some other guys that have just been watching the Hornets, we see the difference. But at least from a personal standpoint, I expect Hornets to be around.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get into that, but I also want to touch on, I think they did a good job in the second round of adding some defensive players. It's Scotty Lewis, who has potential to be a 3-and-D guy and continue to grow in his game, and also JT Thor, who I think is going to be an excellent fit on the defensive end. I'm not expecting those guys to get burned, but I will say what we've seen from James Borrego, if you produce and he sees that you deserve playing time, you will get it. Just like the Martin twins, these last few seasons, they were able to get burned. And
Yep.
also Jalen McDaniels. So it just depends. And then also with that, going back to, do we think James Booknight and Kyle Jones are going to get playing time immediately? Probably so, but we did see where LaMelo had to kind of wait his turn, and stop making so many turnovers in order for the coach to trust him to
Exactly.
run the offense to get and earn that starting spot. So they're definitely gonna have to work for it. Like I said, LaMelo was a number 3 pick last year, and he had to work for it. So he expects the same out of those guys.
That's a good point to make too, because a lot of people, fans, and was a little hesitant to hear about the Borrega decision, because with the name that was associated with LaMelo coming in already, a lot of people maybe who weren't too familiar with basketball just was expecting him to come in and immediately start. But like you said, he made him wait his turn, had to control the turnovers to a certain degree, and so I'm not expecting book night. I love his confidence. Like you said, he made a comment saying him and LaMelo would be Showtime. I like his confidence, but I don't believe that's a guy that should come in and get those minutes. It just seems like it would benefit the team more if LaMelo, Terry, they kind of play, those minutes. But I know it will be a gap. It will be a gap there where he can come in and show what he has. And of course, if he's producing, by all means, take some of those minutes. But I just don't see it right now.
Yeah, I feel like he will. I'll say this: he will get the opportunity to show what he can do, and he just got to prove it. And how do you feel so much about the additions that we made through free agency? Start with from the Mason Plumlees to the Ish Smith to even down to the Kelly Oubre.
My favorite one is definitely the Kelly Oubre pickup, just a real athletic guy that's already meshing with our somewhat fast-paced offense. We got a lot of young guys that run the floor. I feel like that's just also added on to that. Definitely like the Mason Plumlee. I feel like we have a team of solid guys. I'm not gassing these guys up at all. We don't have an NBA championship team at all, but in comparison, man, we have a lot more depth. We have a lot more depth at every position. I feel more confident this year at the big man. But my favorite pickup is definitely Kelly Oubre. What about you? What do you see? Like, I know this is different than what we've seen in the past. So what do you see?
I like the addition of Mason Plumlee. I thought that was I didn't think they wanted to spend a ton of money on an average center, and so
Mm-hmm.
they just felt like they could get him in the trade, and which they did. A guy who could pick and roll, can defend a little bit, can catch the ball. My goodness, man, it's like we never have a big man that can actually finish a lob, catch the ball. He has good hands. He can also playmaker as well. I think he learned a little bit of that playmaking from Jokic out there in Denver. But I like that move. Like I said, I don't expect a lot, but I expect Mason Plumlee to be very solid and to hold down that center position. Like I said, I don't expect too much on the defensive end from him, but I do think he can hold his own. And with
Definitely.
and then with Ish Smith, he's gonna push the pace. When it's that second unit comes in, he's gonna push the pace with Miles Bridges and Kelly Oubre and a few other. Let's say Kai Jones does, get those bench minutes with that second unit and Book Night. They're gonna be fast paced. If you throw out a second unit of Ish Smith, Book Night, Kelly Oubre, Bridges, and Kai Jones, that's gonna just be a fast break nightmare for teams.
No, definitely. And just the straight fast pace. We got a bunch of young guys that's willing to run the floor. In addition to Mason Plumlee, Ish Smith, those veteran style guys. But no, it's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. I like the whole makeup of the team. Let me ask you this though, because we didn't even mention his name, Gordon Hayward. Do a guy that we've seen previously, consistent all-star, before the injury. Do you see him getting back to that? Or have you already seen him getting back to that? What's your expectations for Gordon coming in this year?
Just to kind of finish off where he kind of left off at last year. He was when he was available. Gordon was great. He knocked down shots. He made tough shots. He was a go-to guy if we needed a bucket. To keep the stuff afloat. And I like Gordon. At first I was a little hesitant with the contract, and he still has to prove he can be healthy. Because to be honest, if Gordon would have stayed healthy, we would have been in the playoffs. It's just his health, kind of. I'm not gonna say his body let him down, but his health got in the way of the season last year. So if he can just continue to work on what he had last year, continue to build, I think we'll be fine, or he'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, because like we definitely need to see him healthy. But I also feel like I like the situation where it's not that much pressure on him. We like guys go down and things kind of keep moving as as previously scheduled with or without Gordon. I'm not saying we're not better with him. I'm just saying he doesn't have to worry about that pressure. So I feel like that helps his game, and it should help his longevity. It should help the wear and tear on his body for the season. But again, it's going to be all about how the offense flows, how he all plays within the offense. But I look forward to seeing some playoff Gordon, some playoff Hornets this year. So
yeah, because I like to say that addition. I think with Kelly Oubre is the most exciting addition, I would say, and then just to throw him and Miles out there, on the kind of like as your 3 and D wings. I mean, I like it a lot. I think they can do wonders, especially with LaMelo, Terry. That's just a knockdown 3-point shooter, especially with catch and shoot situations. And PJ, if he continue to grow, his game as well. The Hornets, they definitely have a lot of talent. I'm not going to guarantee the playoffs, but I would be disappointed if we don't at least make it advance into the playoffs after the play-in tournament and everything. I don't want us to have to play in that play-in tournament. To be honest, I feel like we're good enough to compete with some of the teams in the East, like the Knicks, the Celtics, even the Bulls. Even though they did make some good moves in Miami, I don't think those teams are all world beaters. Only people we got that we're not really concerned about are like, the top dogs in the East, and that's pretty much Brooklyn and Milwaukee. They have it on lock right now. And the 76ers, I'll say, depending on what they do with the Ben Simmons situation. But those three are the only ones that I'm really, those are tough matchups. Everybody else, it's like a free fall, they're just competing to see what's the placement going to be in the East.
Yeah, it's wide open out East. It's wide open out East. Guys really have a chance to legit be a top 5 seed. I know it sounds crazy, but take away those top teams like Brooklyn, Bucks. I guess you could throw Philly in there. I'm a little hesitant because I'm not too crazy about them, even with Tobias Harris and Embiid. I'm just not too crazy about them. But you do have to throw top 3 in there. You do have to throw them in top 3. To me, those other 2 spots are up for grabs. I don't see Boston.
Atlanta's gonna be there. I don't want to.
I would expect Atlanta to be there, but you know what I mean? I also
You never know, though.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. I wouldn't be too surprised if they just can't find a way. Maybe a Trae Young go down and they kind of trying to figure it out. I'm not guaranteed, but I know Hornets have the chance.
Not even that. I just think we match up well with the Hawks, So that's why I didn't throw them into that category, like that top 3 spot. Even though they could potentially be in there, I just feel like I like our chances against Atlanta. That's all. That's all I'm pretty much saying. Like I'm not going to that series, like man, this is gonna be we might be lucky to get one game. I'm thinking that with Brooklyn, we might get one game. But as far as they just gave an extension to Coach Borrego, I think it's gonna definitely be an important year for him. Definitely, I feel like he had, for his sake, he has to make the playoffs.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, I just don't feel like we won't. Are you getting that? Like I just seem like the team, the way it's built, piggybacking off of last year, it seems to be going in a good direction. But you're right. So it is some pressure on him. He has to make the playoffs. He has to.
Yeah, I think the fans are looking for us to get a center like, a Miles Turner, Rashawn Holmes, possibly, like a New Orleans
White.
But or either another name was out there with Jared Allen, if the Cavs didn't match or didn't sign him back. But that was like the dream. I mean, I would say more so I guess the dream fit was the Miles Turner. I didn't want to overpay for Holmes, and I didn't want to, pay Nerlens Noel. If it was on the cheap deal, then yeah. And then even with the Jared Allen, I like Jared Allen. I just feel like he's a little one-dimensional. I like him though. So I'm kind of glad we didn't overpay or waste money this free agency. We bargain shopped and we played the patient game. We waited to see. Got Ish Smith, who can push the pace on the offensive end. We got Mason Plumlee, who can be a lob threat and run the court with LaMelo. And we got Kelly Oubre, which is a 3 and D wing, and the guy, I think he got close to either 18 or 20 points per game when he was with the Suns. So, and he dropped 40 points in the game last season. So I like the addition. So playoffs should be the mindset of this team.
I definitely feel like we have to be locked into that mindset. But you make a good point. Nobody made, as far as upstairs management, nobody made an irrational move. You pointed out the need for a big man. We definitely needed one, but for whatever reason, we weren't able to lock up one of those other guys. So we paid Plumlee a decent amount. You know what I mean? We didn't overpay Plumlee. Came in and got a guy that can do his job.
Yeah, because we got him through a trade, and he had a decent contract. I'm not sure what the numbers are exactly, but it wasn't nothing outrageous, you know, of as far as money wise. But I think he has this year and another year on the contract. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with Mason Plumlee. I always liked his game, even though he's a Duke guy. I like his game though.
Always athletic, always to me aggressive enough, like, you know, not soft, you know. So I'll definitely take that, man. But there's so much going on with the Hornets.